Good morning, everyone. Take two. Had a little bit of internet crash there for a second. Good morning. How are you? Today is Sunday, May 24th, and today is going to be a little bit different. I am celebrating the life of a very dear friend who passed, and I spent a lot of time with him. So this is kind of like a Tuesday with Maury kind of feel. But I learned a lot of lessons from him that I would like to share with you um, to help you have a lighter, brighter life. Okay, this is the man right here we're talking about today, Sanford Epstein. I met him 3 years ago. He was my landlord, him and his wife. And he was one of the most amazing men I've ever met. And I want to share with you his life story because I think there's some things that you could benefit from, that I have certainly benefited from, to have an easier life. Okay. Sandy grew up poor with a very big family. He never knew his father. He had nine sisters and him. He had a wicked sense of humor, and his joke was always, I'm always constipated because I could never get in the bathroom with 9 sisters. He was just always hilarious. He had a wicked sense of humor. So he was very, very poor. I mean, they had meat once a week, and the meat was 1 can of Spam to split among 11 family members. That's poor. He lost his childhood by going out in the streets, doing anything he could to make money to help with the family, as was common in the 40s. He's from Pennsylvania. Let me double check here. Philadelphia. He went into the military, and he figured that would be a steady way to bring income into the family. So he went into the military early, and he was so excited because he got to wear a pair of clothes that nobody else ever had. He'd never experienced that before. He got brand new shoes that no one else had ever worn. He just, please don't do this to me. He loved it. He loved it. When he had his first meal in the mess hall, they ate their food, and somebody came out from the kitchen and said, "Who wants seconds?" And he said at that moment he thought he died and went to heaven because he had never heard those words in his life. Who wants seconds? And the military became his home, that he loved dearly till the day he died. So what did he learn from his experiences? What did I learn from watching him that I would like to share with you? Number 1, be generous. He knew what it was like to be poor, and all he prayed for, and he always honored his traditions, his religious faith. He was Jewish. Because he knew what it was like to be poor or struggling, he was generous with everyone. I would walk in the house and go in for whatever reason, and he'd immediately reach in his pocket and say, "What do you need?" And I'd say, I don't need anything. I could use a hug. And he'd give me a hug and a kiss. And he'd say, "Sit down, have some coffee, let's talk." So number 1, be generous. 2, he always worked hard. He always worked hard. Whatever it took to put food on the table for his children, he always worked at least 2 jobs. He was a very hardworking man. He didn't do a lot of book smarts, but he read the newspaper up until the very end. He loved to read. He was a voracious reader. But he worked hard at everything he did. Okay. 3, he always kept his sense of humor. And this is something that I loved about him. He had hundreds of stories. Hundreds of stories. And I would sit there and listen to the same story for the 4th or 5th time and just sit there and laugh like I hadn't heard it before. And the thing with him was he had so many stories because he took a lot of chances in his life. He didn't just say, I'm going to stay in my lane and do the same thing and get what I always got, and that's good enough for me. That's okay for some people. If that's the way that you choose your life, that's completely your prerogative. But he took a lot of chances. He took a lot of chances in his life, and sometimes it got him where he wanted to go. Sometimes it got him somewhere different. But it kept life fluent and interesting, and it would lead to new opportunities because, yes, taking risks. He would take risks. Yeah, he took risks, all right, all the time. And at the very least, he ended up making new friends. How bad is that? You know, and it led for a very, very colorful life and years of laughter. And remember when I tried this? Remember when I did that? You know, because he stayed lighthearted. No, this is my landlord who just recently passed last week. That we are talking about today. But he always kept his sense of humor, and he kept everyone laughing. We would have Shabbat dinner on Friday night and did the traditional dinner. And he would have the whole table in stitches over the time he pulled someone's leg, over this or that, or the time, remember the time we did this, or remember the time we went to the nude beach, or went to the, I mean, he tried it all. He tried it all. He had a very full life. He didn't put limits on himself. You know, and he had a huge bank of memories for that. Awesome. Awesome. Next, he never forgot the importance of sex. Yep, I went there. He never forgot the importance of sex. And the reason why I bring that up is because we're in such a stressful time right now. And I know as a marriage counselor, sex is the glue, or making love, is the glue in your marriage. If you don't have an active, intimate life, then you are two friends, at best, living in the same house, raising your children. Sex is the difference between friends and truly married couple that's united as one. You must keep up with that, the intimacy of that. Otherwise, you know, your marriage could degrade to just two people living in the same house. You do your thing, I do my thing, we take care of the kids. And that's not living life to the fullest, is it? That's not living life to the fullest. But he was out there and he was very vocal about everything. Yet this person was very humble. Very humble. Whenever somebody came to the house, and he got a lot of accolades because of the things he did during the Korean War. He received so many accolades over the years, and just so humble. Never braggadocio. Because all he wanted was a mediocre, what he called, when it comes to money, he wasn't saying, I want a mansion and I want a Lamborghini and I want, no. His prayer was for a mediocre life. Who says that? A mediocre life, because he knew what it was like to be poor and he just didn't want to be poor anymore. He just wanted a mediocre life. And you know what? He got more than that. He got more than that. He has a beautiful wife that cooked 3 meals a day, no fast food, organic food, fresh, always. Lots of fruits, vegetables. That helped him a lot because he suffered cancer more than once, one of which was pancreatic. He had a couple of heart attacks. He had bypass. He had a major stroke. He had clots in his lower legs. At one point, they thought they were going to have to amputate both legs. His kids say he's the cat that had 12 lives. And I feel very strongly it's because he lived a light life in his mind. He was light. He was laughter. He was, oh well, roll with the punches. Don't hang on to anything negative. Let's look forward to what we're going to do today. And he did that. He did that. Lastly, he never gave up. He never gave up. He fought until he literally could not fight anymore. The day before he passed, the whole family was there, and he was cognizant of that, and he was able to be put into a chair, and he spoke to each family member that was there, and everyone was excited. He like bounced back for his last hurrah kind of thing. And the next day he was in bed and he slept a lot. And that was it. And he always told me he had no regrets. He had no regrets in his life because the things he had done wrong, he was repentant of, and he let it go. He took a lot of chances that led him to so much fun, so much laughter, so many memories, beautiful memories, which is what's all we have at the end, right? Beautiful memories. And he is one of the greatest men I've ever known. Because again, he was generous. He worked hard. He always kept his wicked sense of humor. He never forgot the importance of sex or maintaining an intimate relationship with your wife, your partner. He was a very humble man. And he never, ever gave up. He pushed through so many things. He was one of the strongest people I have ever seen. So I wanted to share this with you today because you incorporate these things in your life. See how things shift for you. See how things shift for you. You say, well, I don't want to take a chance. And he took a lot of chances. And you know what? You win some and you learn some. And he learned. And that shaped his life. That shaped his path. Instead of just being stuck doing the same thing all the time, I don't want to take a chance that something might go wrong. Nah. He's like, let's go for it. What do I got to lose? I can always start over. No big deal. So the light-hearted mentality is what kept him so vibrant and beautiful. I will love this man till the day I die. He passed on April 26th, which was the day I was having electrical problems with my internet, which is like I just had right now. to one of the greatest men I've ever known. Cheers to Sanford Epstein.